Hello, my name is Zoe Frenchman, and the comedic contemporary piece of media that I will be analyzing is the Abbott Elementary pilot episode. Abbott Elementary is a comedy series on ABC created by and starring Quinta Brunson. Brunson stars as Janine Teagues, the somewhat naive, perky, upbeat, fairly new elementary school teacher at Willard R. Abbott Elementary School, which is a fictional inner-city school in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania that's predominantly black. Janine stars as the main character, and she learns and adapts to change throughout the episode and the series, and she engages in self-discovery. This series includes a very high tolerance for distress and disorder, and it thrives on chaos. Janine is a complex character who goes through a series of changes and learns to adapt to change throughout the series, and she's forced to deal with complicated issues with the underfunded titular school running into several issues throughout the episode and the series due to its lack of money. Janine's basic goal for the pilot episode is to obtain a new rug after, at the end of the cold open, a student named Jamal pees on it. Other teachers Jacob Hill and Melissa Chimenti also need new rugs. The principal, Ava Coleman, suggests to Janine that she emailed the superintendent to call an emergency budgetary meeting. However, Ava takes all that money and spends it on a new sign of herself, leaving no money for rugs. This episode also involves a teacher named Tina Schwartz getting fired for kicking a student and being replaced by Gregory Eddy. And when Janine attempts to email the superintendent about Ava spending all the money on a sign, the email gets bounced back to Ava, which causes Ava to call a meeting in order to berate Janine and encourage the other teachers to do the same. In the end, Melissa uses one of her contacts to get them new rugs. Melissa becomes known to have different contacts for various needs. In comedies, the protagonist always achieves their goal in the end, and it always ends with some sort of celebration. This episode and Janine within the episode tend to seek out unexpected situations and use them as opportunities rather than a norm violation. Furthermore, despite the somewhat darker premise of an underfunded inner-city Philadelphia predominantly black school, it's a comedy, so they take a lighter approach and incorporate humor. Janine as a character is playful, positive, and energetic as well. This episode uses critical thinking in that this series and episode call attention to the incongruities in the order of things. In this case, the setting and basis of the series is an underfunded inner-city predominantly black school in Philadelphia. The pilot episode of Abbott Elementary introduces the main character of Janine Teagues, a super positive, effective teacher who does make mistakes but owns up to them. It also introduces an ensemble of other teachers: Jacob Hill, who's often clumsy and tries too hard to be woke; Barbara Howard, the seasoned, stubborn, wise one; Melissa Chimenti, the one who's rough around the edges but has a soft spot; and Gregory Eddy, who's in love with Janine, has a very strange diet, and initially wanted to be the principal, as well as Principal Ava Coleman, who is not very qualified to be a principal because she got the job by catching the superintendent cheating on his wife. It works as a comedy because it includes typical comedic traits in the characters and plots, and it always ends in some sort of celebration. The narrative structure of Abbott Elementary's pilot episode includes the exposition, confusion, climax, reversal, anagnorisis, resolution, and celebration involved in comedy stories. The episode begins by introducing the central character of Janine Teagues, and Janine provides exposition by introducing herself as a fairly new second grade teacher who also went to a Philadelphia school. Janine also states that the school has no money and the students are often rowdy, establishing the series' central conflict. As I said, at the end of the cold open, a student named Jamal pees on the classroom rug in Janine's classroom, causing Janine's goal to be to obtain a new rug, and Jacob Hill and Melissa Chimenti, also teachers, also need new rugs for their classrooms. Ava says Janine can email the superintendent to call an emergency budgetary meeting. The confusion portion of this episode comes when the principal, Ava Coleman, spends all the money on a sign of herself, leaving no money for rugs. The climax comes when Janine sends an email to the superintendent about Ava spending all the money on the sign, and the email just winds up getting bounced back to Ava. This causes Ava to call a meeting in order to berate Janine and encourage the other teachers to do the same. In this meeting, Ava says one person disrespected her, therefore disrespecting the school, and she completely berates Janine, calling her pushy, squeaky, and annoying. She encourages all the other teachers to do the same, but they all refuse. Janine admits to being the one to disrespect Ava, and she thinks that trying to help the students at the school shouldn't be a bad thing, and she did it because she cares about the children and the school. The reversal comes when Barbara Howard, a traditional teacher with tenure who Janine idolizes, admits Janine has her flaws. She's naive, a bit clingy, and too cheerful, but she's right in this situation. Wanting to help the students should not be a bad thing, and the teachers leave to go check on Janine. The anagnorisis comes when Janine says one of her students comes to sleep on the classroom rug every day because it's softer than his bed at home. Janine says she doesn't care about whether the teachers think she's a good teacher or not, but what she cares about is making a change. Barbara and Melissa then express that teaching is a calling, and Janine answered that call. Teachers definitely don't teach for the money, they teach because they care. Then in the end, Melissa calls a contact in order for them to obtain the new rugs, and the resolution comes when he comes to bring them. Janine says sometimes you have to find a way to do things yourself, even if it's outside the norm. The celebration comes when Janine unveils the new Eagles rug for the classroom, and all the students cheer. Janine says she provided for her students, and despite no money or help, she can do this job. The tone of this episode is playful, comedic, and a bit serious at points, with heavier subject matter being included, being that the series is centered around an underfunded, predominantly black, inner-city Philadelphia school. Quinta Brunson created this series and wrote this episode in order to shed light on prominent, genuine issues in society while making it digestible by making it comedic and relatable. The mood of this episode is comedic and slightly serious at once. It's lighthearted and funny, but touches on some serious issues. It's a mix of optimistic, realistic, frustrating, hopeful, and of course, hilarious. Alright, that's gonna be it for my Abbott Elementary pilot analysis. Thank you so much for watching.